Hey guys, I'm Apples and Dragons, and I'm here to talk about A Song of Ice and Fire. This is going to be a short video. I just wanted to respond to this blog post, or not a blog post, by George R. R. Martin. I'm a bit late to it. He wrote it on January 10th, 2023. So that was a couple weeks ago, a little more. But I wanted to see what people are saying about it and say some things of my own. The post is called 2024 Calendar featuring Justin Sweet. And Justin Sweet is the artist who did the art in the calendar. And I guess every year they make one of these calendars. I didn't know that until I started reading about this. And this is the 2024 one. And this is the cover of it. And it's drummed up a lot of discussion about what it's depicting. Because it isn't self-evident, really. So I'll describe the picture in my own words. It takes place in a forest. The background is a forest. And there's a tree. Looks like it's a white tree. So it's probably a weirwood tree. But it's unclear if it's a weirwood tree because weirwood trees they usually have red leaves that look like hands, and there are no leaves on this tree to be found. But it does have a face, and the face is looks unhappy. I'm not sure exactly what emotion that is. It's kind of despondent, I would say. I'm not sure that the expression on the face matters so much, but... And there's a man and a woman. The woman is walking on a root of the tree. She's balancing with her arms out. She has long black hair. She's wearing a dress that's like kind of goldish brown on the top with root patterns that extend down into the bottom of it. The bottom half is kind of burgundy. Very naturey looking dress. And the man is behind her. He's sitting on a root of the tree, watching the woman. Looks like he's straddling the tree. And he is wearing all black. He has long silver hair. Pale skin. And in the foreground, there's blue flowers on the ground. And that's, their ages. They look anywhere between like 18 and 30. I don't know. They're not old and they're not especially young. They look like adults. Anyway, that's all there really is to say about what's in it. Let's see what people are saying about it. The clothing gives me Jenny of Oldstone vibes, but the weirwood tree and the blue flowers, not subtle. Nice. Justin Sweet's art always makes me really nostalgic, because he did the character portraits for the Icewind Dale games. I don't know those games, but I like the art too. Did a good job. I like his art style. All those who are denying that it is Rhaegar and Lyanna, you are just delusional. So he's certain it's Rhaegar and Lyanna. It's obviously Rhaegar and Lyanna. Look at the blue roses down below. Blue roses are only ever explicitly linked to Lyanna in this story. And to Jon, but implicitly. So he's sure it's Rhaegar and Lyanna. George R. R. Martin has to be the greatest of all time at milking a series before finishing it. Yeah, they can be a little cynical around here. I think it's obviously R and L. Just that I never imagined Lyanna to be this, well endowed. George. That's funny, so he blames George instead of the artist. Could be. I wouldn't make that leap right away, but it's possible. But I do appreciate her more Rin Fair hippie appearance here instead of a cheesecake pinup or Instagram model that fan art sometimes picture her as. Rhaegar in the background looking like a creep. I guess that's fair. So he thinks Rhaegar looks creepy. Or at least he thinks the man in the background looks creepy. And he thinks that man is Rhaegar. My first thought was Alice and Aemond. Then I realized the eye patch is missing. It's probably just Rhaegar and Lyanna. The guy just sitting on the weirwood watching gives me creepy Bloodraven vibes. Yeah. Duncan the Small was who I thought about after looking for alternatives for Lyanna and Rhaegar. But he does look too Valyrian to be him. I don't even know who Duncan the Small is. Would they really spoil Lyanna equals Night of the Laughing Tree in a calendar? Gurm can always say it was the artist's idea, I guess. Either a calendar or a Broadway play. Pick your poison. Yeah, they are doing a Broadway play of The Journey at Harrenhal, aren't they? This doesn't spoil it any more than the text. So he thinks it's a foregone conclusion that the night was Lyanna. That's a great point, though, but not in the way that he means it. What's up with him not giving us wildcard news anymore? I think that's a joke. Usually they complain about news that's non-A Song of Ice and Fire, and usually the non-A Song of Ice and Fire news is wildcard news, or the Giants football team news. That image seems kind of warm and lush for the North. That's also a good point. It's, there's no snow in it, so it can't be the North. But there are blue roses, which is such a Lyanna tie-in. The dead werewood at Raventree Hall of House Blackwood definitely is a possibility. Black Betha Blackwood had dark hair and eyes, and married Aegon V when she was 19. Huh. The ravens only come to Raventree Hall at dusk, so their absence in the day fits. Yeah. I don't think it's Raventree Hall. Dress colors don't match Blackwood or Stark. Note the roots on the dress. Blue flowers make me think it's Lyanna. Well, the reason I wanted to share my thoughts on this picture is because I know who it is, beyond a shadow of a doubt. And as far as I can tell, I'm the only one saying it. I guess this is a prediction video of a sort. I don't have anything against Rhaegar and Lyanna. They're great characters, important characters, but these are not Rhaegar and Lyanna. These are two characters who may or may not have ever lived. If they did live, I don't know who they were. But I know them as Forest Love and Forest Lass. They're the two characters in the song My Featherbed. It becomes more obvious when you read the lyrics of the song. I wrote about the song a bit, so I have the song in my memory. So I'll just tell you the lyrics. It goes like this. My feather bed is deep and soft, and there I'll lay you down. I'll dress you all in yellow silk, and on your head a crown. For you shall be my lady love, and I shall be your lord. I'll always keep you warm and safe, and guard you with my sword. How she smiled and how she laughed, the maiden of the tree. She spun away and said to him, no featherbed for me. I'll wear a gown of golden leaves, and bind my hair with grass. But you can be my forest love, and me your forest lass. So you can see the parts of the song in the picture. They're in a forest. There's a man and a woman. And she's, her body language, she's kind of spinning away from him. And he's looking at her as though he's maybe talking to her or was just talking to her. And she's facing away from him. And so that's him making his offer of Lord and Lady featherbed and protection and all that. And her dress matches too. She's wearing it's not a dress strictly made of leaves, doesn't look like, but it could be. But it's mostly the color. Like, it's the fact that it's like leafy, naturey looking, and it's also golden on top, which is the color of the leaves in the song. I wear a gown of golden leaves. It seems noteworthy that this picture was chosen as the cover of the calendar. The cover's the most important picture, or at least it's the picture that represents all the pictures within it somehow, if it's well chosen as a cover. Now, I don't know what the other pictures are in the calendar, and I probably won't even buy the calendar, because I don't really use the calendar. But it's I'd really love to have this picture as a poster, though. That's really cool. A poster, or maybe even framed or something. But I'm trying to think of what I can say about the picture without giving too much away. The picture represents the reader's relationship to the story, to A Song of Ice and Fire. In that it elicits the Lyanna and Rhaegar interpretation. This picture is George R. R. Martin screwing with his audience. And I suspect that he worked very closely with the artist on some of the details of it, some of the artistic decisions. The two most noteworthy ones that stand out to me, three actually, are the flowers in the front, the blue flowers. As soon as you add blue flowers to the picture, you're going to get people to think it's Lyanna and Rhaegar. But if that wasn't enough, they also made the man look creepy in the background, which ties in with a lot of the audience's feelings about Rhaegar. He's kind of a creep. And the third thing is her hair color. Her hair color is not mentioned in this song. So they could have made it any color, but they made it black. Because if you make it any color except black, or brown, people aren't going to think it's Lyanna. So if you want people to think it's Rhaegar and Lyanna, you make her hair dark. Very cool. So now you're probably wondering, what's the big deal about that song, My Featherbed? How could that possibly be a bigger deal than Rhaegar and Lyanna? Wouldn't Rhaegar and Lyanna represent the story better than that obscure song? Conventional wisdom says yes, but yes and no. They're related to each other. I also noticed that a lot of the things in the picture they're unnecessarily, well, maybe unnecessarily. Yeah, let's just go with it. They're unnecessarily pushed to an archetypal extreme. For example, the man in the song is, he calls himself Lord, or your Lord. And so the man's hair being silver is the archetypal extreme of Lord, because people who have silver hair are the Targaryens, and the Targaryens are the lords of the lords. So the Targaryens are as lords as it gets. And the same thing with the tree. And this is a heart tree, for sure, because it has a face. But if the scene in the Featherbed song happened in reality, I don't know if that scene actually happened, or actually would have happened at a heart tree. It might have just been any tree. Or no tree. It's just in the middle of a forest. Under a bunch of trees, maybe. So it's possible that the face is sort of artistic license in the same way that the hair is, where the man could be any lord, but we're trying to make a fantastic depiction of reality, so we crank the dial up to 11, make him make it the tree of all trees and the lord of all lords. And hey, that might even work as an explanation for the size of her generous bosom. Maybe she's the archetypal woman, the woman of all women. And as with all cultural items, songs, pictures, paintings, movies, stories, the characters in it can represent the people viewing it. They can be symbolic of the people viewing it, and symbolic of any people or things in the real world that have something in common with it. The man in the song can represent all men, past, present, and future. And the woman in the song can represent all women, past, present, and future. You only need one unifying principle to establish the symbol. And in this case, the unifying principle is their sex. And that's the right frame through which the Featherbed song needs to be looked at, in order to work out how it relates to Rhaegar and Lyanna. Anyway, that was all I wanted to say about the picture. That's forced love and forced lass. That's my prediction. This was another picture in a calendar from 2019 that is kind of mysterious because people don't seem to know what it's depicting, or who, or when. I don't either. This is my first time seeing it. I'm sure that that's Jon Snow, because his sword it has ghost on the pommel. Plus he just has the right hair color, clothes and stance and all that. But I have no idea who the women are. The red robes makes me think Melisandre, but the blonde hair makes me go, okay, that can't be Melisandre. Unless she had a hair change, which would be kind of weird. But maybe not too weird, because she does do glamours. But if she were going to do a glamour, the robes would be more important to change than the hair. Or at least as important. I don't think that's Melisandre. I think that's probably Val or Daenerys. And I kind of lean towards Val. But Dany does have the R'hllorite supporters, so it's conceivable she could come to wear a red robe. Not sure how Val would ever come to wear one. I don't know who the woman is. Some people are speculating that it's Selyse. And maybe. She's got like a tiara. I have no idea. That's cool though. I'm not sure where they're at either. They're standing on some weird kind of ground that almost looks like a map. But there isn't one of those in the books as far as I know. The map on the floor was just in the show. Looks like hills or mountains in the background. Who knows? But their body language seems like the most important information in it. I mean, aside from their identities, clothes and hair and whatnot. The blonde woman is looking right at John, and the brunette is like looking sideways at him. And his stance is strange too, like he's swearing some kind of oath or something. Or he's about to do an execution. And neither one of them are kneeling. So I kind of lean towards the oath part of it. The oath side of that. This woman's also got a staff, which is sort of a religious thing to have. I feel like she walk with a stick. That's like a religious leader sort of thing that they do. Especially if they're not old. This woman from the back at least doesn't appear to be old. She's got her hands together. And let me make it bigger. She does not look happy, does she? Her eyes are even kind of closed. She ain't happy at all. Looks like an emerald too on her tiara. The braid also kind of matches with Dany, because Dany would braid her hair, coming from Dothraki culture. Anyway, I'm done. That's all. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you next time.